Messier. I'm here, and I wanted to bang out some subscriber requested topics. This is subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. Now, most of these topics will be pro wrestling related. I do appreciate the non-pro wrestling fans, of course, and I suggest you watch the Impeccable or Messier Mantra. Great viewing for anyone, really, here on subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. People in the parking lot are very excited about this. They're screaming and hollering for no apparent reason other than they're excited for this rant, this Wrestle Rant. Of course, it's interactive here. It's live. It's a Tuesday. The woman is just so excited about this Wrestle Rant. So here we go. I'm trying to remember all the topics. I'm going to start off with my buddy Shane McKenna was asking what I thought about Goldberg doing a promo last night on Monday Night Raw, which I actually did see the promo as research for this rant. What did I think of Goldberg coming back to wrestle, apparently, Bobby Lashley, most likely on October 21st, a Thursday afternoon in the United States. The show will be from Saudi Arabia, one of these crown jewel shows. As you know, I have a long and outspoken history with these shows, speaking out against them and the concessions WWE makes by even doing these shows. But let's just take it for what it is and talk about the show like it's any other wrestling show. What do I think of Goldberg and Lashley? I could be wrong, but I think this might be Goldberg's last match under the contract that he has. I could see them signing Goldberg for another contract, but I think the only guy he hasn't put over is Roman Reigns, because Roman didn't do that WrestleMania where Roman, COVID had just started and Roman has those history of lymphoma, if that's it, the leukemia, I'm sorry. It's not my fault that he has it, but in any event, Roman did not do that WrestleMania. He was taken the place by Braun Strowman. Interesting how WWE operates, isn't it? They released Braun Strowman, who showed up for that WrestleMania, and they keep putting Roman Reigns over, who no-showed to WrestleMania. Unbelievable. But that's how that company operates. You know what I mean? Okay, let's get to this. What do I think of Goldberg and Lashley? I've been very impressed with Lashley, how he's handled this title loss with he's keeping his character. His character even looks a little bit better after the title loss of the Bruno belt, the lineage title. I think Lashley's been showing a real intensity. And look, folks, we know it's all kayfabe and blah, blah, blah. But when a wrestler, even in this world of wrestling, with predetermined outcomes and so forth and cooperation, you can tell when a guy is kind of cashing it in. Why is this? There's so many assholes that are bothering me today. This woman screaming in the parking lot. This truck is annoying me. But in any event, Bobby Lashley seems to be at a real career stride. It would make very little sense unless the Saudi Arabian prince wants to see the big bald Goldberg win a match, and which could actually happen because apparently the Saudi Arabian Sports Authority pulls the strings on these shows, as we've seen. So unless that's the operation, unless that's the order from those individuals who are the puppet master's puppet master, the smart thing would be to have Goldberg lose to Lashley again, have it be a competitive 4 or 5 minute match, but have Lashley, win the match, maybe allow Goldberg's son to get in there and do some type of move on Lashley, but then get squished. That would be the sensible thing. Will they do that? Who knows? Like I said, they could very well just placate to the whims and the wishes of the Saudi Arabian Sports Authority and let Lashley go over Goldberg, which would make no sense, but it's WWE. Thank you, truck, for leaving. Now we just need this crazy woman in the background to shut up. Then we have what's next on this whole affair. I guess they're building, not guess, but obviously that we've known Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Some people are upset that this is not a WrestleMania match or even a Survivor Series match. But this match is being performed and the puppets are dancing for the Saudi Arabian Sports Authority. So that being said, those two actually wrestled there, like I think 2 or 3 years ago in a cage match, didn't they? Was that the first crown jewel or something like that when they had that cage match that like Roman speared fucking Brock through the cage but Brock technically was out first. Roman and Brock haven't wrestled in 2 years or a year and a half, but the last time these two guys tangled, they had so many matches where Lesnar was beating Reigns. I might have just thrown the Goldberg name in there, but these type of Brock and Roman do have an interesting chemistry. I mean, they had 2 WrestleMania matches. The first one, of course, was interrupted by Seth freaking Rollins. There's a lot of weirdos going on right now, to be honest with you. I don't know what to make of it. There's a weirdo right behind me. But for me, it's just one of these days where there's too many people around me, which I don't like. But Goldberg, fuck Goldberg. You're going to have 2 Rock'em Sock'em matches, Goldberg and Lashley. And I guess the story in that match will be the injury of maybe Lashley's leg or Goldberg's leg. But I would predict Lashley to win. And I think hopefully that'll be the last we see of Goldberg forever. But we keep thinking that. But it seems like Junior or the Brats or whoever, they like what they get out of Goldberg. And he's still got guys to put over. I guess I'll go back to Goldberg for a minute. But he still has guys like Roman. He hasn't put Roman over. I guess he could put Edge over. He could put Seth Rollins over. I'm talking about Goldberg. Goldberg, every time he loses, he has a really good way of just coming back strong as if you never saw him lose in the first place. So, but in any event, I would predict Lashley with the victory. As far as this Roman Brock thing, going back to that, I would assume Roman's going to win. I wouldn't be shocked if Brock won that match just to do a return match in the States, as they say. When I was a kid, we never said shit like that. We never said in the States. We just said home or USA or here. It's just interesting how things change with social media, because now, even for me, in an interactive world with wonderful people like my buddy Javier Oist from Pro Wrestling Stories and other fine folks who are in the UK and other interesting parts of the world, you have to remember that there's other people in the world, and I guess that's part of these Saudi Arabian shows. There are people in the world that throw homosexuals off of ceilings, and I guess we're supposed to respect that, although I don't, that policy by Saudi Arabia, but the WWE does, because they take their money and they do these shows. And I, being the pro wrestling advocate and connoisseur and expert, I lend my opinions to this sports entertainment WWE nonsense out of the goodness of my heart. So let's go back to that match. Brock versus Roman. I could totally see it being a title change. I could totally see Brock getting the title just to show the Saudi Arabian people a good time. And then you come back to the States, to the USA, and you have fucking whatever the fuck. You have another match. You have another match. Look at that. I just changed the square. You have Roman get the title back. Now, would that make sense with all this momentum that Roman has? He's had the title for 394 days now, or whatever it is. It wouldn't make sense. The only sense it makes is the Saudi Arabian Sports Authority money. If they want to see a title change, they'll see a title change. People are conjecturing, but it's not written in stone. To give credit where it's due, I just checked out Bleacher's report. And I just listened to Meltzer and Alvarez for a few minutes, although even they had not much to say, and they admitted that. But Bleacher Report was kind of speculating on some matches, speculating on a Big E defending against Drew McIntyre. My buddy AJ over there on Facebook said, we do have some comments I want to get to him. My buddy there said he was wondering why Drew McIntyre is getting the title shot on SmackDown against Roman. I didn't see that announced, but my response to that was Roman must spear. They just need new bodies and new meat to feed Roman on SmackDown. And Drew is now, unfortunately for him, falling into the upper mid-card level. I mean, Drew McIntyre was I wouldn't say he was a pretty good champion. He was a good champion, but, he couldn't. I mean, Drew McIntyre could not change the fate of the world with a pandemic. He couldn't put asses in seats when asses weren't allowed to be in seats. Adam's changing the topic. I like that. So I'm going to go with Roman to retain against Brock at Crown Jewel, but with an asterisk. I totally wouldn't be surprised if Brock wins the title and they just flip it when they get back to the good old USA. Adam says, what do you think about this Brody Lee documentary coming out? I didn't know about it, first of all, and being shown in a Rochester, New York theater. Do you care? Well, gee whiz, Adam, you know me better than that. I do care. First of all, um, oddly enough, when I got the news of Brody Lee passing, and you can find my Brody Lee news reaction when he passed, Adam, it was one of my higher view count things because I was one of the first people to do a tribute because I got the news and I was shocked and I immediately did a tribute video to Luke Harper, Brody Lee. Um, why would you say, do I care? I do care, as a matter of fact. First of all, because it's out of respect to a deceased wrestler. Second of all, it's a documentary. Um, people look, Bruce Mitchell lost his job or lost a couple of jobs because he was disrespectful to Brody Lee and his family when Brody Lee passed. I wonder if that's part of the documentary, Adam. I do care. uh, I do care. To answer your second question first, I didn't know about it, so I mean that's what did I think? You're giving me the news, Adam. You're breaking this story for me, buddy. So I do care. First of all, it's a wrestler that everyone seemed to like. I I don't think I did see him wrestle. I think I saw him wrestle with the Wyatt family going back to 2016 at Providence Civic Center. That's what I call it. I'm trying to remember if they wrestled the Usos or maybe the Dudleys or something, but I did like the Wyatt family, the original OG 2016, and unfortunately, Brody passed on. Eric Rowan's not really wrestling anymore. Braun Strowman's been released, and fucking Wyndham Rotundo's been released. So that whole thing that they had lightning in a bottle once again, WWE just seems like they spite themselves. So, Adam, I do care to answer your second point. I didn't know about it, so that's. I mean, if that answers the question, but I think it's great. I mean, I wonder if it's a full length doc. I would assume so. To tell a guy's life story, it's going to be harder to do that than in 20 minutes or 40 minutes for a short. I mean, possibly, but I think it's got to be a full length. I would assume, and docs are an interesting thing, Adam. I mean, documentaries are different than biopics, like the Respect movie, which I thought was great. A little, safe. Aretha Franklin story, Jennifer Hudson will probably get an Oscar nom. The difference between a biopic, which we've seen about Ray, or we've seen them about a bunch of people, Ray Charles, I'm talking about, with Jamie Foxx. The difference between that, like a recreation of someone's life with actors and a script, versus actual footage of someone, a documentary. I just saw that movie, the Eyes of Tammy Faye, which apparently was based on a doc, which I think I saw as well, but that was a long time ago. You can do a lot of things with both mediums, a straight out doc or a biopic. I'm assuming this is a straight out doc, the way you described it, Adam. I would like to see it. I think it's cool. I mean, I've got nothing against it. I've got nothing against Brody Lee. Um, I think Meltzer and Alvarez brought up a few days ago that last week when Big E was doing his, championship Oscar speech, he thanked one special friend above, which most people assume was Brody Lee, and the fans in the WWE arena started chanting Brody, Brody, even though, as Meltzer pointed out, Brody Lee was his AEW name or his non-WWE name. Actually, I saw Brody Lee wrestle. I know I did at Dragon Gate Pro. This was a card I went to, which I have a DVD of now, 2010, I believe, Fall River, Massachusetts. It was something called an iPay-per-view. Ake Bono and Luke, or Brody Lee and Aki Bono, I believe, against this really interesting tag team. They did like an Egyptian snake charmer gimmick. It was a really interesting team that used like magic and surreal shit. It was kind of the indie-rific stuff that I don't really approve of, the thumb in the ass, PWEG stuff, but they were good. We got more comments maybe from Adam. Oh boy, this is a touchy one. But do you think it's a big deal that WWE has African Americans in the title picture while AEW has zero African Americans? Okay, and Adam clarifies, thank you, Adam, in the title picture. Well, okay, not to beat the dead horse, but Scorpio Sky, for what it's worth, was one half of the first tag team champions. And Scorpio Sky had a match against Chris Jericho for the title at one point. Granted, that was going back some time, like over a year ago, that he had that match with Jericho, if you remember that. So I see your point, and other people have brought that up. Uh, it is a touchy subject, buddy. So also, I was kind of getting into the debate about this. Uh, what's the lady's name? The former women's champion, the native beast, Nyla Rose, right? Well, I thought she was Native American. Now, obviously, a lot of people will say, hey, she's transgender, man to woman, wrestling the women's division. I think they should have storylined that. I had a whole storyline with her and Dr. Britt Baker. Britt Baker not wanting to defend the title against her. And, so on and so forth. And of course, they took the safe way. It's interesting how wrestling takes the safe way on some things, but the hard way on other things, or the controversial way. I thought it was a great story. Transgender athlete competing for a women's title. Why not get that on The View? Why not get that on Sports Center? You know what I mean? Just to me, that's a slam dunk. Controversy creates cash. It's not a fucking secret that Nyla Rose is a transgender individual. So let's discuss it. Let's raise awareness. You know what I mean? Through wrestling. Why not? Of course, they don't do that. They take the easy way out like cowards. But what can I tell you? I'm not running the company. I just should be. As far as this African American title picture goes, who would you have in there? You know, I mean, and not to sound rude or dismissive, but who would we suggest? Jade, Chungus checking in. I can see Powerhouse Hobbs pivoting towards attacking Ricky Starks for that FTW championship with the way he eyes it up. Great point. Um, that's true, although they just kind of did that with Brian Cage. And Cage is another guy that's been wasted. I guess his wife went on social media to complain. But I don't want to hide from this topic. Here's the thing that people may not want to hear, but I'm going to say it delicately. What is the percentage of African American people in the United States? Let's just take the United States, not the world environment, not the world population. I've heard between 13 and 15% are what people would label as Black, African American. Uh, well, Spiffy is taking Adam. You pulled the string, buddy. It's racist to suggest African Americans should be in the title picture simply because they're African American. Well, I'm getting to a point here, Spiffy, and the point is, if the percentage is somewhere between 13 and 15%, why are we? Why are people in general not complaining that the NBA is probably 80 to 90% African American? Hey man, it's okay. I'm here to take the hard topics. You know what I mean? Why you don't see anyone protesting? We need the next Larry Bird on the Celtics, or I mean, of course it would be Boston for that, but no one's complaining. When I watch an NBA championship and there's literally 10 African American guys on the court, I have no problem with that. That's the best players. I'm going to watch them play. If it's LeBron and everybody else, playing the game, I don't see that, oh my God, I'm not being represented by this basketball game. Where's the Mike Messier representation? It doesn't bother me. I'll be represented by myself when I write a screenplay. You know what I mean? Thank you. Of course I make great points. That's why I'm here, brother. NFL. I mean, you get a whole thing there. That's a can of worms. People complain, and maybe rightfully so. Where's the African American ownership in the NFL, and where's the head coaching? Why are so many quarterbacks white? Okay, fine. How come so many receivers and running backs are African American? I'm not protesting that I need white representation. I don't. Where's my John Riggins? God damn it! You know what I mean? NHL. I mean, with the notable exception of Grant Fuhrer and some others, and a cousin of mine actually worked on a documentary about African American hockey players. Shout out to my cousin AJ Messier. But I'm not out there. I'm not trying to dictate the ethnicity, and I hate the term race because we're all the human race, the ethnicity or the cultural background of the players in the NBA, the NFL, boxing. When I'm watching, and look, I'm a fucking writer or a script consultant, whatever you want to call it, on Lennox Lewis documentary. Okay, if you haven't seen that one, Lennox Lewis, look for my name, Mike Messier, on that doc. But you don't see me saying, well, why didn't Lennox Lewis defend against whoever the fuck? I mean, there was no great white boxer. Tommy Morrison. Well, where was the Lennox Lewis title for defense against Tommy Morrison? Or You know what I mean? Lennox Lewis versus Asim Rockman. Lennox Lewis versus Evander Holyfield. Well, how come these two guys have a stranglehold, Lewis and Holyfield, in 1999 on the World Boxing Championships? Because there's more than one. Where's the white representation in that? You don't see me doing that. You know what I mean? But here we are, and even the fucking film awards the other day. Since Spiffy is kind of summarizing my thought here, and it sounds coarse and it sounds rough, but I'm just saying by the numbers, here's the thing. That's what I just said, Spiffy, by the way. So you're articulating and writing what I'm getting at. I think 15% of the country is African American, so anything over 15% is overrepresentation. There was an award show last week, and I don't watch these award shows. I'm too busy doing my own goddamn thing. You know what I mean? I mean, nobody's complaining that Mike Messier's wonderful screenplays. Where's the representation of Mike Messier in Hollywood? Where's Fighter Play Basketball? Where's Also Ran? Where's The Distance from Avalon? No one's fucking protesting for me. No one's hashtagging for me. I'm on my own. So when I'm seeing these awards things, and it's like, well, there was a lot of nominated African American actors or people of color, POC, but all these other shows won all these fucking awards. And guess what? I don't watch any of those goddamn shows. You know, the show, the fucking guy that's supposed to be funny. I'm not watching his show. I'm doing my own thing in the world. So I get it. Representation's important. If you read a script like mine, Fighter Play Basketball, and you have Sweet Sugar Brown, African American boxing legend, who was screwed out of a title opportunity because of his race, you'll understand that there are things that I write that are wonderful, which cover all the bases. I mean, when people say, "Who do you see as your lead actress in Fighter Play Basketball?" You see, who do you see? Nicole Kidman or Meryl Streep or Charlize Theron. I say no. I see Kerry Washington from Scandal, assholes. So, I mean, I think in terms of the best role, and some roles that you write for a script are going to be African American based, some are going to be specifically Caucasian. In that script, I have a Slovenian boxer, and the male character of Jack is probably biracial, the way that I see it, or African American, but most likely biracial. And there's certain elements for that. But some scripts I write, and I don't think about the ethnicity of the characters at all. You can watch Disregard the Vampire, Mike Messier documentary, and see the myriad of people that I've worked with. Mike Messier films will be at the MTV Movie Awards. You'll win a golden popcorn. Hey, I'll take it at this point. So I appreciate that, Adam. But my point is, going back to Adam's point about AEW, I mean, look, Brandy Rhodes, African American. Cody Rhodes is the father of a biracial child. The owners of the company, the Khans, was it Pakistani? I don't want to misrepresent them. I believe they're Pakistani. I could be wrong, but the Khans pretty much own the town that I live in, Jacksonville. I mean, I've put a lot of goddamn money into AEW this past year, and that's a Pakistani family. So I'm not complaining. You have Shaquille O'Neal came in. Tyson came in, okay, to AEW, and I was there for those. Those are African American celebrities who are wrestling. Look at the Cody Rhodes match. Cody Rhodes and Velvet Sky against Jade Carhill, a rookie. She's African American. I mean, she was very fresh, very new, and Shaq. So I'm not sure of Red Velvet's ethnicity. I think she might be a mix of Latina and African American. I don't know. I didn't ask for her papers. You know what I mean? I'm being sarcastic here. But I mean, whatever Red Velvet is, she's non-Caucasian in the strictest sense. And Cody is showing that he's down. I mean, Cody was raised by Sapphire, as we know. He was breastfed by Sapphire, so he's obviously not a racist, straight from the tap. And so there you go. So does that answer your question, Adam, bro? I don't know. I mean, who would we push? I mean, I thought them girls are gorgeous, by the way. Red Velvet, especially. I went to that AEW Fan Fest thing, and Red Velvet's very pretty in person. And you know who else is Statlander's very pretty. Good for Orange Cassidy. Statlander, she looks less attractive with the other, like when she's next to Britt Baker. Statlander looks less attractive because she's like bigger, but she's not big. She's just big compared to these, Britt Bakers of the world. Red Velvet's very attractive. Jade is not my type, but she is hot in her own way. What's up, Carl? How you doing, buddy? I don't know if I answered your question, Adam. I hope I did. I don't know. Cody's mom is Cubana. Well, that's interesting because now I can see that. Now that you said that, I didn't know that. And do he and Dustin have the same father? I mean, same mother. I know they both are Dusty's son, but Dustin and Cody the same thing? AEW could push Mark Henry to beat Miro. Funny thing is, it probably would be a good match. It would be a good one-off. Mark Henry could definitely get in shape for one more match, as we say. I didn't like seeing Paul White wrestle on that pay-per-view, especially going over. I thought there was like one thing more. I think if you look at my AEW reviews, the all-out review I did in the parking lot after watching on the big screen. But I think, Adam, I don't want to discount your point altogether, because if you look at the All Elite, like the Kenny Omegas, all the young fucks, the young bucks, they're all pasty white as fuck. So I get the point. I just don't know what to say about it or how to remedy it, or it doesn't need to be remedied, or do we just kind of wait for Powerhouse Hobbs to come up in the game? He obviously got a bit of a shine or a rub wrestling CM Punk. A great topic. And you can give WWE a lot of credit, but guess the fuck what? I mean, Bobby Lashley versus Big E, 1992, gentlemen, August 2nd. Ron Simmons pins Vader. I did my fucking video about that. Watch my Ron Simmons beats Vader fucking video. I was there. Love seeing Brian Pillman Jr. Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel alumnus. You can watch Brian Pillman Jr. and myself discussing my fucking book, A Distance from Avalon, which I'm assuming you gentlemen have all ordered by now, but I know that you haven't because the sales aren't very high. So you guys can go order that book today. But Brian Pillman Jr. is on Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. Really good guy, great mullet. And I actually saw him on the 4th of July walking around Jacksonville with his mullet. Nice guy. But yeah, it's great to see him get his push. Be interesting to see how that Varsity Blondes thing goes. Another friend and subscriber was saying, Mike, what do you think of the Golden Girls? I'm going to bang this topic out as we're here on this thing that Adam put us on, this touchy topic, which I'm fine taking on, as you can see, because I'm a man of the world. I have friends of all races, internationals, and ethnics, and all types of wonderful things. That I am a diverse individual. I'm only white on the outside. How about that for a t-shirt? So but let's talk about this for a second. Golden Girls, what do you think of the Golden Girls getting an all African American reboot? Now, I don't know if my buddy AJ was making that up as speculation or if that's a real thing. Here's my thought. The Wonder Years is coming back with an African American show, an African American cast. If it's a good show, it's a good show. I feel that it's a bit of a shortcut to label a new show. That's funny. I feel that it's a bit of a shortcut to label a show with an old show's name unless there's a real connection. I mean, I think AJ was also bringing up that John Amos from Good Times, the father from Good Times, starred in somewhat of an Archie Bunker All in the Family remake where they kind of did the same house, but it wasn't really the same show. It wasn't called All in the Family. It just took place in the same house. And the question was, what do you think about that, Mike? And I think it's a shortcut. And I think in this world of it's so hard, everybody's fighting for camera time. Everybody's fighting for your viewership, your subscription, your PayPal, your Patreon. Everybody wants your fucking attention. They want eyeballs, right? That even the networks take shortcuts. I think it's a shortcut, a creative shortcut, a marketing shortcut. I don't know if it works. There's a great video on YouTube, guys, about Halloween. I think it's Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the one with the masks. There's a couple of videos on that that's really interesting. You think with all the Ric Flair distancing now that now WWE will allow Cena to break Flair's 16-time championship record, or will that be Roman eventually? I think it'll be Charlotte Flair, although that wouldn't make much sense either. Charlotte has shown some signs of being a little bit unloyal to WWE, not showing up for a house show to go see her boyfriend wrestle in Mexico. See, I even gave Mexico the proper pronunciation, Mexico. So I think Ric Flair, it's a great question, Adam, but the question is also, is Cena even coming back? Or was Cena pretty much gone for good? Guess what, guys? I could see Cena going to AEW for a cash grab. I could. Who else was I thinking about could possibly do that? There was another big name from the recent past that I could see. I could see this Braun Breaker kid. I mean, that kid looks like AEW bound. Uh, there was some other top WWE people that I was really speculating I could see going over to AEW. So, Undertaker, great question. Would Undertaker go to AEW? That I'm not so sure about. It'd have to be a hell of a lot of money. And I think that Undertaker, having just done like a movie with the New Day that's going to be on Netflix, I think Undertaker's pretty tied in. At the other hand, guys, you got to think like Vince can't just pay these guys for being old and sitting around. So if there's someone else that wants to pay these guys, let them pay them. It's probably Vince's point of view. I think with Vince, he does feel in some ways like he's a father figure to all these fucking wrestlers. And if some other stepfather wants, it's like if you had kids, right, and then your ex-wife gets remarried, you're kind of pissed, but you're kind of like, good, let someone else take care of her crazy ass and pay all these fucking bills. You know what I mean? Because I think it used to be old school, like 80s mentality. If a man was paying alimony or wife support, and she got remarried, he was off the fucking cuff. So that'd be kind of, I'm sure there's been a movie like that where a guy is trying to get some fucking guy to marry his ex-wife. Take my wife, please. You know what I mean? Please marry my ex-wife so I don't have to pay this alimony or child support. So anyway, I'm really shocked RVD hasn't shown up in AEW, as that was Khan's favorite in ECW. Great point. Yeah, especially because RVD was doing all the fucking Impact Wrestling stuff and still having, I guess he was still okay. I really didn't watch it. I know that RVD showed up on Monty and the Pharaoh show, of which I do have exclusive videos, guys. There's 2 videos. The AEW apologist, Mike Messier, getting some good views over on the Monty and the Pharaoh YouTube channel. So check that out. They have great guests, by the way. They had RVD on recently, as well as some others, Missy Hyatt. You think Finn Balor would consider jumping ship after his Extreme Rules loss? That's who I was thinking of, Chungus. It's exactly who I was fucking thinking of. That's who I was thinking of. Thanks. Or has he spent enough time wrestling and thinking about retirement? No, I think you fucking nailed it. And as I was watching that match, and I guess there was some other questions, Mike, can you cover your thoughts on that crazy Roman Reigns title defense against the Demon? I was thinking that whole fucking match, buddy, Chungus. I think Finn Balor could go all elite. He could fit right the fuck in. He would be headlining. He would be in the mix with Adam Page and Kenny Omega and Christian and all the world title contenders. Great point. Finn Balor was really made for AEW, and even the theatrical aspect of it, I'm not sure at this point if he still has the copyright to the Demon or whatever the fuck. But I could totally see Finn Balor in AEW. Great point, and that's exactly what I was thinking. Let's talk about that title match for a moment. I thought it was a good title match. I think they were creatively not in a bind, but they kind of put themselves in that spot where, you know what I mean? They being WWE had gotten they've already booked the next pay-per-view, the Brock versus Roman. And like I said, what did I call him? A dead duck challenger, or what's that? A resting duck or a dead duck or whatever the fuck, the duck thing. The challenger Finn Balor was kind of a duck of some kind. What's that term? The dead duck or the fucking loose duck or whatever the fuck. But he's a duck, meaning that he doesn't have a fucking chance of winning. We all knew it. The stuff with the lights, like the heart beating, was pretty cool at the end. My buddy Joe Cronin over the Joe Cronin show made a great point that how come they debuted this heartbeat thing, like the reboot, like a video game character, and then still have them lose. I did a video yesterday where I said that it was the power of the Usos, the brothers in heaven, Rosie and Jamal, who helped from heaven, from Samoan heaven, fucking Roman Reigns retain the title, because Roman and the Uso boys were pointing to the heavens, and they were pointing to Rosie and Jamal, using the Samoan heritage powers from beyond the grave to break the top rope. Just a funny thing I thought of, but why not? I mean, what the fuck, right? I mean, some people were saying, oh, he was God. God's a Roman Reigns fan. I think let's be a little more specific. Why not Rosie and Jamal? And I think the one that was Umaga, was Roman's brother, which I think was Rosie, but I could be wrong. Or maybe it was Jamal. I don't know. I think Jamal, which was which? I think Jamal became Umaga. I'm on your side with not agreeing to the Universal title being featured over the Bruno belt. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, it makes very little sense. The Universal title, speaking of Finn Balor, um, speaking of Finn Balor, laughing your ass off, God doesn't like demons. Thinking of Finn Balor, he was the first Universal champion. He got his arm injured in that match against Seth Rollins. They stripped him of the title. They could have gotten some nice cheap heat if they just put the title on Seth Rollins and said, hey, look, you know, you were in the match. The other guy lost. The other guy beat you, but because he's injured, you get the title. That would have been a nice way to go at the Universal title. But instead, they did like a 2-week tournament, if you remember that, like 2 4-man matches, and somehow Kevin Owens came out, and it was corporate Kevin Owens for a while. And then what happened next? He and Jericho had their thing, the Friendship Foundation or whatever, the Fountain of Friendship, the Festival of Friendship, and then he lost to fucking Goldberg, and that's why Jericho went over to AEW, because he was upset that they put Kevin Owens and Jericho on second at WrestleMania that year, and Goldberg, of course, lost the title to fucking Brock and that Rock'em Sock'em. That was Universal title. I think what happened, as we all know, because Brock became associated with the Universal title for most of this time, he got to be the big belt. Like Brock, whatever title Brock had was the big belt. And they started highlighting Brock versus Roman matches, especially as the main event on pay-per-views, and Brock versus Samoa Joe at Great Balls of Fire, and so on and so forth. And I was always against that, guys. And AJ Styles was like the Bruno Belt champion and defending like 4th or 5th on the card against Samoa Joe, and I was always rallying against that. Jinder Mahal at some point had that title, the Bruno Belt title. That was a low point, you know, because Jinder had been a prelim guy or a fucking mid-level guy at best. So they just disgraced the Bruno Belt, and I don't like it. And I go back and people say, well, Dolph Ziggler is a former world champion. No, Dolph Ziggler's not. He had that world heavyweight title, which was the fucking, you know, the shadows of the WCW title. So I point these things out. I know the history of these fucking wrestlers better than they know it themselves, because I have a wonderful mind, because I don't abuse drugs or alcohol like these fucking wrestlers. And so I just know more than they do. Trying to think if there's any other rant topics, guys. Get them in. I guess we're going pretty long here. That's fine. If you got anything else, let me have it. The questions that I had were about Brock. What did I think? Brock, AJ once again. I guess AJ's not even here, but he was wondering, what do you think about Brock Lesnar going babyface? I think it's fine. I mean, I think Brock can do babyface. We've seen him do babyface. He had to go back a ways, 2002. Even when Brock was challenging Seth, Brock was kind of a babyface then. That was like 2016. Maybe it was just a month or so, but Brock has done babyface, and I think he's done well with babyface. I think people like to get behind Brock. At this point, guys, a lot of it is just tenure, like meaning being around forever. Big gold straps used to be maroon, but turned black due to being worn by sweaty dudes. Good point. So, you know, I think Brock will be fine as a babyface, to answer AJ's query. The fans like him. They like dominant guys. You know, at one point, Brock was looking like the Crusher because he was getting out of shape for a while. I think it might have been on that Samoa Joe angle. Wasn't there a match where Brock Lesnar defended against Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman? Was that a 3-man match, or was that Brock against Roman and Braun Strowman? There was like a 3-man match. It was actually pretty good. And I think Braun accidentally stiffed Brock, and then Brock like punched him in the face. But you can watch my video, I Beat Brock Lesnar, to see the real story on that. Donald St. John, my buddy, award-winning filmmaker from Avalonia Festival. Check it in. This is a Pro Wrestling Rant. Donald, thanks for checking in, bro. Donnie St. John, always very active. And actually, I saw Donnie St. John playing a police officer in Free Guy here in Jacksonville, Florida. Actually, Yulee, Florida, Donnie. the big D screen. Wonderful screen. You look good. Good job. Adam Demoy, who will AEW have a title run first, Punk or Bryan? I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan on that, or Bryan Danielson. I don't want to use his slave name, his WWE horrible name. Bryan Danielson, I believe, will have a title run before CM Punk. I would say that CM Punk might be more committed to AEW, so it could go the other way. I just feel, Adam, to answer the question, Daniel Bryan is like a cult survivor who's getting deprogrammed, like he's coming over to the AEW side of thinking. And next thing you know, you'll see the fucking Bellas shaking their hips on fucking AEW and wrestling the Iconics or the Inspiration, whatever they're called now, the two pretty women from Australia. But I think, Adam, my opinion, Bryan Danielson will be AEW World Champion by the end of the year. It'd be funny if he went back in time and wrestled Vern Gagne and Nick Bockwinkel, right? But I think, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, Carl with a great word here. WWE PG sucks. I think Bryan Danielson will be the world champion of AEW before the end of 2021. Yeah, bro. It really would be. I mean, I think the Bellas, look, I'm not a huge Bellas fan, but I'm going to tell you a little story right now. I went to see a WWE show, I think the same one in Providence, 2016. It was like a SmackDown taping. I went just to see the fucking Dudleys, believe it or not. And the Bellas came out, and there was a specific pop for the Bellas. And I guess I'll call it the Bellas pop. It was the sound of teenage girls screaming for their idols. And this is not me. I'm not that fan, right? But these girls with their fucking smartphones and their Instagram accounts and all their fucking pop culture bullshit, they see the Bellas as their heroes. So that's not who I like. That's not who I'm cheering for. I'm not a Bellas guy. I mean, I like Sasha Banks. I like Bayley, believe it or not. But for them, they like the fucking Bellas because they watch the Bellas on TV and they think of the Bellas like they think of the Kardashians. That's the world we live in. So the Bellas pop. Meltzer and Alvarez talk about these statistics so that they have less fans for women in AEW than men and blah, blah, blah. Statistically, they have less fans than WWE's women fans, and people like Queen Hyleen, another one of my Twitter wrestling friends, it's always saying things like, we need more women wrestling fans for AEW. Bring in the Bellas, that'll be fixed. Donnie St. John, thanks for watching, bro. Donnie, I can see you being a wrestling fan, Donnie. We haven't talked about that, but I can see you being a wrestling fan. Chungus has got some comments. Yeah, the total Bellas on E, exactly, and they were over. I'm not happy about it. I'm not a fucking Bellas mark, but they were fucking over. But here's a great question. Any expectations for Cody's reality show this Wednesday? Here's the thing with reality show, guys. I think, where reality shows are made or broken? In the fucking editing. Even a show these people are obnoxious as fuck. But if you catch yourself watching this show, the Chris Lee show, like I have a kind of a running punchline. Is he gay or just Southern? You know what I mean? Like that's my fucking running punchline. And with this Chris Lee guy, he's married, he's got kids, he's got his mother. He seems very effeminate, but it's just like his Southern vowels. It's like you can't tell sometimes with these guys if they're gay or Southern. And Chris Lee walks that line, but he's got, his wife, she can see she's kind of cute. She's put on some pounds. But the point I'm talking about this show is if I can sit here and rattle off all this Chris Lee knows best crap, and it's a show that I don't even like except the fucking daughter's hot, then, I'm sure that with wrestling and the fact that it's not Biz and Maurice and their fucking French-speaking mother-in-law, I think the road show Rose to the Top will be fine. It'll be good. Who was it? Nikki Bree. One of them walked over to Becky's squash of Bianca. Whichever twin was pissed in her view. That was Nikki Bella, I believe. Nikki's always the more outspoken one. She's the one that did John Cena for a while, to be blunt. If you want to see some good retro Mike Messier rants, put Mike Messier, Cena, Bella breakup reaction. I did about 4 videos. They were early classics of me and the Bellas breakup. If you find my Enzo Amore album release reaction video, that's fun. But the Mike Messier Bella's reaction are some of my best works, early works. It was Nikki. How will it rank compared to Hogan Knows Best, Miz Show, Bella Show? Holy shit, good question. The Bella Show, I really wasn't into. I'm going to put, here we go, ready? I'm going to put Miz Show on the bottom of that list. I'm going to put, fuck. I'm probably going to, I would probably like Hogan Knows Best better, but I'm going to put Bella's show number 1, Cody's show number 2, Hogan's as a tight 3, and Miz as a distant 4. Love the whole big time wrestling brand, all the excitement. John Cena, awesome. Worked with him on Daddy's Home 1.2. Yeah. Donnie's an actor up in New England. Daddy's Home. So another Daddy's movie. I know that there's been 1 and 2, you're saying. Okay, very good. Yeah, man, wrestling's fun, man. And New England, where Donnie is and where I used to be, is a huge point. Big time wrestling as a group. I don't know if you meant that specific brand, Donnie, but the Waltham, Revere, they're the brand that brought Ultimate Warrior in. Spiffy, Brian Pillman's Memories is the best Mike Messier video. I appreciate that. It's a 17-minute tribute Wrestle Ride rant where I'm talking about the greatest matches of Brian Pillman Jr. I'll just name one here. Watch the video, guys, for all of them. Pillman Jr. tape fist match. I believe Super Brawl 1, which I believe is in Florida, wasn't it? At the Lakeland Center. Maybe it was in Jacksonville, but I think it was at the Lakeland Center in Orlando or something like that. Pillman tape fist match against Barry Windham. But look for that Brian Pillman Memories video. And a picture of Pillman that I took myself. Mikey, pay-per-view on Sunday was poor. It felt like watching Raw or SmackDown. Do you agree? AJ, this is the thing, buddy. Because I don't watch Raw or SmackDown, and AJ, I answered all your questions early in the rant, so you'll have to go back and rewatch this when you can, because I answered like 3 or 4 of your questions, buddy. The Brock Lesnar, everything. I actually thought it was a good pay-per-view, and I'll tell you why, AJ. Because I'm not watching Raw and SmackDown bell to bell. I'm not watching that 5 hours of content every week. I'm picking and choosing of anything I watch. I pick and choose. I didn't watch Roman versus Montez Ford, for example. So by the time we got to the pay-per-view, I could use a little Roman Reigns in my life. I could use a little Carmella and Liv Morgan. You know what I mean? I could use a little dumb WWE wrestling. You know what I mean? Like if I want AEW, I'll watch that. But if I want a little bit of WWE, the classic presentation, the shooky with Booker T, Heyman and his crap, it's nice to just watch a WWE pay-per-view and just feel like, okay, I got caught up for the month without having to watch everything. Carl's correct. We did a nice WrestleMania 22 video. That was a good one, Carl. And if people can find Carl Kate's playlist right here on Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel, as well as Carl's own YouTube channel. But Carl went to WrestleMania 22, which I thought was a great show. John Cena grew up near me in Newburyport, great town. Loved The Rock, worked on Central Intelligence with him. He's very cool. Yeah, The Rock's cool, man. I did a little bit of background on I think it was called The Game Plan, the football movie he did. And I was we were told not to talk to The Rock. Of course, people did anyway. Well, I was going to ask The Rock why he had some incorrect information in his book, claiming that his father was a former Intercontinental Champion when he wasn't. I'm really into Wade Boggs or whatever. Adam's having a little fun here. You're talking about Wade Boggs, the baseball player, I believe, from the Red Sox, as we say. I went to one Red Sox game in my life, and the seat was not good, and the Red Sox got beat, and it was Mother's Day, and I blew off my mother to go to this fucking baseball game with a friend of mine, and I felt bad about the whole thing. It was a real mess. And then the Red Sox didn't even bother to fucking win. They lost like 11-3, so I pretty much watched the Red Sox from the comfort of my own home. Well, gentlemen, it's been a wonderful situation. Mikey, is online streaming and shopping going to replace everything because of COVID? No, because some people don't want to be vaccinated or wear masks. Well, bro, I've been fully vaccinated. I wear masks in my sleep now. I wear a mask every day of the goddamn week. You know what I mean? Like, look at all these fucking masks. I give out masks to the homeless just so that they don't breathe on me. But the point is, folks, get your fucking shot. It's not going to kill you. You'll be fine. The Googs, the guitar player. Okay. Uh, you know, have a great day, brother. You too, Donnie St. John. Thanks for checking in. Feel free to share the channel and all the Messier mantras, Donnie. You probably see a lot of your friends on the Messier mantras, bro. Adam, yeah, Boogs, the guitar player, he was actually at the NXT show I went to right before the worldwide situation, February 29th, 2020. I went to an NXT show in Jacksonville with my buddy Morrow, my online eBay representative, and I have some wrestling material on there if you're interested. But basically, we saw Rick Boogs, and he was one of the most entertaining guys in the show. They also had it was the barefoot stoner guy and the little guy that fights. Adam has sent me a box of wrestling propaganda, and we're going to do an unboxing video. You guys are welcome to get me gifts as well, tribute, or just buy my book, as I said. That's probably the nicest thing you can do for yourself, because not only do you help out your buddy, me, you also get a nice book that I wrote. You have to go to Amazon and look for A Distance from Avalon. And right here in the credits of this video, you can see in the description the link. So there it is, my wonderful book. It's a great book. You can buy it, you can read it, and you'll feel much better about yourselves for doing so. You'll say, gee whiz, I bought Mike's book. Okay, let's see. Adam's going to comment. Happy Corbin is so much of a bad character to losey writers and ripping off next Cameron Grimes. Yeah, man, that's the thing with WWE, and they've had a history of doing that. If you go back to the gold medals with Kurt Angle back in like 2002, he literally did the same storyline twice, once as a babyface and once as a heel. He had his gold medals stolen by Stone Cold and the Chris Benoit in the same calendar year. It was pretty ridiculous because people were like, didn't we just see this storyline? And the answer was yes, we did. So WWE, for all the songs we sing about them, there's a lot of flaws in the armor of WWE. But you know what I mean? So anyway, guys, I want to thank. This has been a real fun thing. I did reach out to a couple of you guys and say I was doing a live stream. The Shane McKenna wrestling fans really kind of was the catalyst for this one. But AJ had a bunch of questions. AJ, go back and watch the whole video because you'll see all your questions about Brock and other things were answered. The Lashley. I'm trying to think if I forgot. Oh, God, I keep forgetting. Roman Reigns wearing a mask. I thought that was kind of cool in the title defense on the pay-per-view. Roman Reigns. I am going to go see Venom, buddy, on Thursday on the Big D screen. Thanks for reminding me. I'm going to get my ticket today. So I'm going to see Venom. I'm going to see the Transformers movie. Like the 1986, whatever the fuck movie is playing at the theater tonight at 7. I will be there. I've never seen it before. I was more of a He-Man guy than a Transformers or a G.I. Joe guy, but I'm going to pay my respect. I'm going to see the Transformers movies tonight. I guess I'll do a reaction video to that. And so on and so forth. So, I mean, I will go see Venom on Thursday, and I'll let you know what I think. The instant movie reviews are up, guys. So if you're looking to see what's a great movie, you can go to those reviews. And I always announce spoilers before I spoil something. But it's once again, subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. Fun video. The Impeccable. So You're the Guy. Messier Peace Theater. I do know that Kurt Angle had drug problems, Carl. But he's doing better now, right? I do listen to his podcast at times. He's a little vanilla. He's not as good as Arn or Jarrett. Evil Dead returning in theaters. Yeah, Fathom Events, man. That's the shit. I'm a big Fathom guy, as you know. I probably go to the movies on average 5.6 times a week. So I'm a big movie guy trying to keep the film industry going. All right, gentlemen, we've had a wonderful time together. Please share this video if you're a fan. You can share these videos as much as you want. Copy and paste the URL. Send them to a buddy of yours, someone you think might enjoy it, or someone you might think may not enjoy it, you know, but just spread the word. I did cross over the threshold of 1,000 subscribers. Thanks to everybody, Carl and everyone else. NXT, bro, I'm going to be at the movies, so I'll tape it. I have it on the DVD. I have it on fucking YouTube TV for now, unless they lose their fucking deal in the next couple of days, bro. That's another sob story. But I will watch, you know, if it's good, and I'll let you know what I think. I did like that women's tag team, the new Beautiful People ripoff. Okay, gentlemen and ladies and everyone else, this has been fun. Yeah, you know, Scott Steiner's on bad terms with them, so it's interesting to see his nephew. Maybe the nephew, Braun Breaker, can be kind of a bridge, you know, like a human bridge to get the Steiners in the WWE Hall of Fame. Wouldn't that be cool if Braun Breaker were to induct the Rick and Scott Steiner into the Hall of Fame, and they could just say that Braun Breaker is like a big fan of the Steiners. But I mean, that would be kind of nice. Wouldn't it be great to see the Steiners get in the WWE Hall of Fame 2022 and Braun fucking Broman or whatever the fuck induct them? I might do a video on that. Anyway, fellows, that's my schmaltz. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching. It's been a good video. Carl, AJ, Donnie checking in, Adam, of course, our new buddy here, Chungus, always with some new good comments. Really had a good time, and we got some spiffy, nice, or some spiffy. Had some good thoughts. We got some new comments. I think they killed Lily. Good point, man. Poor Lily. She was over. She was just getting over. They killed her push. Poor Lily. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Mike Messier. Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel.